Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're making a filet crochet wrap skirt. I'm really loving shawls and filet crochet right now, and hopefully you will love this just as much as I do. It's a simple project. If you don't know the basics of filet crochet, I do have a video breaking it all down, so definitely give that a watch before jumping into this tutorial. But to complete this project, you are going to need a weight 3 yarn. I used 2 skeins for this project. It was the Lion brand True Boo yarn. Each skein came in 241 yards to give you kind of like a frame of reference. You'll also need a 4mm crochet hook, a darning needle, a pair of scissors, a tape measure, and then optional items are some beads, a needle and thread, and then of course you need a rocking playlist. This tutorial won't have any background music, so you can play your favorite songs as you work on your project. I don't know about you, but I love to crochet with a good song or a movie in the background. Don't worry, you will hear my lovely voice, just no background music. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Now let's go ahead and get on into this tutorial. For row 1, you're going to start off by making a slip knot. And then you're going to go ahead and chain 5. Then in the 5th chain from your hook down here, you're going to go ahead and do 1 double crochet. That marks the end of row 1. Now going into row 2, you're going to start off with a chain of 4 and turn your work. In this very first stitch here, you're going to do 1 double crochet, then chain 1. Skip the next chain, and in the chain after that, go ahead and do 1 double crochet, chain 1, and then 1 more double crochet into that same chain. So these are the first 2 rows, and as you can see, we already have a cute little triangular shape that we're going to build up even more. So now the repeat that we're going to be doing for this entire project is as follows. We'll do it for the next row. So for row 3, you'll chain 4, turn your work. You're going to do an increase in the very end here. So in the very first stitch, we do 1 double crochet. Then go ahead and chain 1, skip the chain 1 space. In the stitch that sits over top of the previous row's double crochet, go ahead and do 1 double crochet. Then chain 1, skip the chain 1 space, do your next double crochet over top of the previous row's double crochet. And then that brings us to our end, which we need to do an increase here. So skip the next chain, and in the chain that follows, make sure you do a chain 1 first. Because we want to separate all of these double crochets with the chain 1. So then skip the chain after that, and then in the chain that follows, you're going to do an increase, which is 1 double crochet, chain 1, and then 1 double crochet in that same chain space. So this is what the first 3 rows look like. So you're doing your mesh as you normally would do a mesh pattern or mesh stitch. It's just in the corners here, you have to make sure that you do 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet to build up the size of your piece. Now I'm going to go ahead and work up a few more rows, and I'll meet back with you guys and let you know how many I've done, as well as give you the measurement on how big my piece is so far. And then we're going to go ahead and bring in our fillet chart. Okay, so I've done 15 rows, and the number of mesh boxes that you should have across in this 15th row is 28. So now we're going to go ahead and start to bring in the fillet chart. Just so you know, in the chart we have 28 boxes, so I think it's easiest for us to just start here at 28. But know that for the grid, it stays having 28, so the grid will continue to work up and fit within this portion of our little triangular piece here, but our piece will continue to grow outward. So as you're reading the grid, make sure that you're counting from where we start this first or this next row, which will be the first row of our grid, just to make sure that you don't start magically shifting the shape of your grid and then your flower doesn't look like a flower. Okay, so we'll do this first row together of the grid just to get you guys set up. So we're going to start off how we have been by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then turn your work. In the very first stitch, go ahead and do 1 double crochet. That is our first mesh box of this row. And in our grid, we have 10 of these open mesh boxes before we get to our first filled box. So go ahead and do 9 more of these mesh boxes. Okay, so I just completed 10 of my open mesh boxes. Now the next box we have is filled. And if you have watched any of my filet crochet tutorials, you know I like to do a filled box by going ahead and starting off half of my first double crochet. Then I go back into that same stitch with the half of a second double crochet. And then I kind of like join them together. So that's 2 double crochets joined together in that chain 1 space. And then put 1 double crochet into the stitch that follows to finish off that filled box. So that's our first filled box of this row. Then looking at our chart, we have 2 open boxes. So go ahead and chain 1 instead of doing a filled box. Okay, now we have 2 more of those. And then we have 3 more filled boxes. So in the chain 1 space, we'll do a joined 2 double crochets together, and then 1 double crochet into the stitch that follows, and then repeat that 2 more times to make 3 filled boxes in total. Okay, so now I have 3 of those filled boxes. I have the 2 open, and then I have the 1 here. And when looking at the rest of our chart, the rest of our boxes are all open. So go ahead and continue the mesh as we have been, like normal. And then once again, once you get to the corner, you're still going to do your increase. So in the last chain space here, you do your 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet. But then when you're going into the row after this, make sure that you're using these mesh boxes, or excuse me, make sure you're using these filled boxes here to make sure that you have the next round of filled boxes lined up properly, so on and so forth, because this grid will not go past this portion right here, but our piece is going to grow outward. Okay? So be mindful of that. Go ahead and work up this full piece of the whole grid, and I'll meet back with you guys once that is done. Alrighty, so I finished working up my grid, and that is this portion here, and because it's laying on this white table, you can't really see it all too well, but please know that it is done. And so now after you've worked up your final row of the grid, then go ahead and just keep extending this a little bit more, doing a few more rows of just your regular mesh back and forth until you're satisfied with the size of your piece. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think I want to have upwards of 15 of these rows. It'll be a personal preference thing. As long as you're satisfied with your sizing, just go ahead and work it up until you have the size that you desire. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to, at the end of my row, chain 1 and cut off my yarn, and then I'm going to weave in this tail end as well as the one on the other end where we first started off our project. And then once that is done, then we'll go ahead and get into beading our project. Okay, I wove in my tail ends, and now I've started placing little like stitch markers just along my work in order for me to figure out how far apart I want my beads to be. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach my beads onto my project, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like once it's done. Okay, so I got the beads on here. I don't necessarily like the ones I chose. I think they're a little bit too small for this project, so I'm going to be going back and swapping those out. But for right now, this is what my final piece looks like. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you love your pieces. Be sure to tag me in any photos that you post of your little wraps, whether it be here on YouTube or on Instagram or Pinterest. I don't care. I do like to see the projects that you guys come up with, the color schemes that you choose, and even if you decide to do beading, like even what beading you chose. But that is all for today's tutorial. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new tutorial.